The next type of search I want to do is a basic search in Google Images, and then I'm going to pump it up to an advanced search and use some search tools to make sure that I'm using images that are licensed for reuse. So I'm going to go to Google, easy peasy, Google, and I want to look for the Facultad de Derecho in Rosario. That's a law school in Rosario. So I first come up with that. Now I click on images. This is the Google image search. And there's all kinds of beautiful images. Unfortunately, I can't use them all. They're not all licensed for reuse. Just because something's on the internet doesn't mean it's okay for us to use it. We have to have permission from the owner of that information. To be able to see if we have that permission, we choose Search Tools. Click on Search Tools, and then we choose Usage Rights. The best to use, the easiest to use, is labeled for reuse. You're also not using this information commercially because you are students and you aren't gaining any money from it. So you can, if you find the reuse search limiting, you can try labeled for non-commercial reuse as well. But let's start with that labeled for reuse. Now I have many fewer images to use. And not all of them are of the same building. I need to make sure in this particular case that I'm finding the image that I really want. So you're going to have to look around on the page once you get there to make sure that this is the Facultad de Derecho in Rosario. Oh look, that's on Wikimedia, the source that we just looked at. That's on Wikimedia. These sources, these images are there in that context as well. Let's see if there's something that isn't. Oh my goodness. They're all loaded up to Wikimedia. What this is telling me is that it might just be easier in many cases to go to wikimedia.com and .org to do the search. Because all these images are in Wikipedia or Wikimedia. You can see as I'm looking at the bottom, it's telling me where that image is found. All right, I'm going to go to one of them anyway. I'm going to go to this one. I've walked by this exact doorway before, and it looks just like the image I have in my mind. I'm going to pull that one up. I just went to View Image. Many of us do this. We go to View Image, and then we download that image, take that image. But the problem with this particular page is the only thing on this page is the image itself. There's no information about who took it, when they took it. We can't attribute, we can't cite the source of this image anywhere. So I'm going to go back, choose that image again, and I'm going to visit the page. There'll be more information on that page. Here it is. It just brought me back to Wikimedia, this place where we were earlier. It tells me who took the picture, when he took it. Okay, it gives a not necessarily a title, but a brief description that you could use as a title. And all those rights as well. There's that picture. There's the law school there in Rosario. Let me try a different search. Try a different building. Let me go back to the flag monument, and I'm going to do the search in English this time. Once again, most of these are loaded up, it looks like, into Wikipedia or Wikimedia. This is why Wikimedia is such a great source. This is on Flickr. Let's see, I'm going to double check. That's kind of awkward image to use. But there's that flag monument again. I'm going to click on that. I'm going to visit the page. What does he tell us about this? He tells us when he took the pictures. He tells us some rights are reserved. I'm going to see which rights are reserved. He says that we can use this image. We can copy and redistribute this for any purpose, even commercially, as long as we cite where it came from. We give appropriate credit. So if I wanted to use this image from Flickr, we can, because his rights tell us we're allowed to do that. That particular search that we just completed here on Google Images was focused on images that are like that. Most of those images are through sources like Wikimedia or the New York Public Library, where they're clearing houses of publicly reusable images. However, there are some people who load their pictures up on Flickr or other places, and they license it for reuse, just as we saw. Hope this is helpful for you in figuring out how to use Google as a tool here when we use our search tools and labeled for reuse or labeled for non-commercial reuse. Using Google as a tool to find images that are fair to use.